Hey everyone, it's David H Medium here, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet already, please do so now. You know where to click. So every time I upload a new video, you guys get notified and you're then able to follow my video series on all things psychic and spiritual. So grab your cup of tea or cup of coffee, head over with me now to the Morning Lounge, which is part of the Spirit Lounge video series with myself, David H, and I will see you there. Hello, good morning everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're watching from. And thank you for joining me for episode 1 in the Morning Lounge video series. I hope, like me, you've got your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, and you're sat comfortable, ready to join me for episode 1. So let's get into it. So this first episode really is an introduction into the channel and what to expect with the episodes coming up. Plus you get to know a little bit more about me. So as you know, I am David, better known as David H Medium, and I am a medium based in East London. I'm a medium, I'm a healer, and most recently I became an author by releasing my debut book, Coming Down to Earth, which was released in January 2021. It's available on all Amazon platforms in both a Kindle and a paperback version. So go ahead and get your copy now. It took me a really long time to realize and recognize that I did have a communication with spirit. And that was in 2017 when I was in my mid-30s. Apparently, I used to talk to wallpaper in my grandparents' flat in London when I was an 18-month-old baby. Of course, I have no memories of that. And I also have no memories of ever seeing spirits or ghosts when I was a child either. But I always remember being a very intuitive child growing up, but I didn't realize what it was at the time. I thought it was normal. I thought everybody was really intuitive or psychic, if you want to call it that, until I came to realize later in life, actually, how intuitive I was as a child growing up. I never thought I was a medium or psychic or that I even could be. Coming from an Irish Catholic family, you're not taught to believe in psychics or mediums, let alone talk about them. So I knew of no one in the family that were psychic or mediums either. However, from the age of 14, I stopped going to the Catholic Church, and my mum encouraged me to go out there and discover different things to believe in and make my own decisions about what I wanted to believe in. So I did. So I discovered what I knew then to be the paranormal, not so much spirituality, but more the paranormal stuff, because it always fascinated me. It never scared me. So I used to watch programs like Most Haunted religiously every week, didn't miss an episode. And then I also discovered mediums on TV at that point as well. So the likes of the late and great Colin Fry, the late Derek Acorah, Tony Stockwell, Sally Morgan, then the American mediums like John Edward. And I used to watch them in awe. And I knew even at that age that they were connecting to the spirit world. And that was all there was to it. I used to sit there sometimes wishing, I wish I could do that, not knowing that actually I could. You see, I always thought that mediums that I'd seen on TV were just born special. I thought they had a special power that only they possessed and therefore only they could be a medium. I never considered myself special or gifted, and therefore I just enjoyed watching them without realizing that I also had the ability to connect on a psychic level and a mediumship spiritual level as well. Over my teen years, my interest in the psychic world and the spiritual world grew even more and more and more. And my friends and I would seek out psychic fairs where I used to live, and we used to go to see these psychics, have readings. They would tell me that I had some kind of ability that I needed to develop. And because I didn't understand it, I didn't know I could do it, I didn't really process it or do anything with it. So we've just continued to go and see different psychics and mediums, all those mediums that I mentioned earlier. We'd seen them all live in the flesh as well. So again, we knew that what they were doing was real. There was no TV edits. It was there live in the flesh. And again, just always in awe of what they could do. Then my life changed in my early 20s, and life sent me on a different path. I came out in my late teens, early 20s, and then not long after that, I joined a drag queen trio called the Florettes. You may have seen them. And we traveled across the country, up and down the country. We performed abroad. So life just took me on that path, and it took me away from any kind of spiritual or psychic development. However, I was still very intuitive, but again, at that particular time, I didn't recognize that in myself. I thought everybody was the same. Then moving forward into 2017, when I was in my mid 30s, I was drawn back into the spiritual world for one reason or another. And that's when I truly started my mediumship and my psychic development. The actual moment I knew that I could communicate with spirit was when I did a practice reading on somebody I used to work with. He was very well aware that I was very new to this and I didn't really know what I was doing, but he was very willing to be a guinea pig. But it ended up, we did a little session and I brought through two of his relatives who were desperate to hear from the spirit world, who I didn't know at the time, and ended up bringing through evidence from the spirit world that proved to him that I was communicating with his loved ones, which was quite shocking to me, to be honest, because I didn't know what I was going to get, if anything at all. And that was on the 31st of October 2017. Now, that's a really quick, watered down snapshot of how I started my development. But if you do want to know more about my development and what I did to develop my mediumship and psychic awareness, do go out and buy the book on Amazon. And this documents my journey into developing as a medium and psychic awareness. And I hope it helps those people who are also on the same journey, or just people who are just interested in the spiritual world altogether, because I give my views and opinions on what I've experienced so far in my development journey. So yeah, go out and get it now. It's all about education. For anyone that knows me or for anyone that follows me on my Facebook page, they will know that I like to share my knowledge and to educate in the ways of spirit. So on my live Facebook broadcast, it's not all about reading as much as I love doing it. It's also about educating and empowering people to connect with their loved ones in the spirit world themselves directly, because we all have the ability to do that to some degree. I'm just very lucky as a medium that I'm able to connect with other people's loved ones in the spirit world as well as my own. So the episodes coming up, I hope, are educational. And what I must say is, anything that I talk about in those upcoming videos are my own views and opinions and based on what I've personally experienced myself. Now, I know from my own self-development is that when I started, I read so much and studied so much that I would see that there were varying different opinions by different mediums about the same topic. So you sit there scratching your head thinking, okay, who do I believe? And I'm sure many of you have experienced the same thing. So what I did one day is I sat in meditation and I connected with my spirit guides and I shared the problem I was having with them. And I told them that I wasn't sure who to believe because there's so much out there, so many different varying views and opinions on different things. What do I believe? Who do I believe? And they came back with the answer of, David, you need to come to your own conclusions. And I will say the same thing to you. Whatever I say, whatever opinion I might have, I'm not asking you to agree with it or believe in everything that I say. But what you know is truth, you'll feel that in your soul when you hear it or when you read it. So you have to come to your own conclusions and believe what you feel is right for you to believe. I can only speak honestly and truthfully and speak on my experience and the knowledge that I have from my development over the past 4 years. So in the upcoming episodes, we're going to touch on many different topics about the spiritual world, psychic awareness, mediumship, and I take a lot of inspiration from my followers on Facebook because a lot of the topics that I'm going to talk about are on the back of questions that they've asked me in my live broadcasts and over the past couple of years. So I do hope that it answers their questions, but I also hope it answers your questions. And I hope that you find the topics insightful, interesting, useful, informative. But I also hope that to an extent they also open your mind and allow you to expand your mind to understand that there is another world out there that is not just the physical world that we live in. There is also the spiritual world. So do continue to follow me, stay with me, follow the channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so every time I upload a new episode, you guys are the first to know. So once again, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in episode 2.